Hey, happy Friday. Welcome to another great and exciting episode of the Real Deal Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. Like I said at the top, happy Friday. It's almost the weekend, so I hope everyone gets to enjoy the weekend. If you're getting good weather, I hope you get to enjoy the weekend coming up. But my Women's History Month series continues. I have an incredible guest waiting, so I'm not going to keep her much longer waiting. So before I get started, let's get it. Hit my music. All right. Once again, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. Happy Friday. It is March 27th. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. Glad to be back. And like I said, it's almost the weekend, so hope everyone gets to enjoy their weekend. Before we get started, you can follow the show on all the podcast platforms, whether it is Apple, Spotify, YouTube. We're also on BS3 Network, BS3TVLive.com, BS3 Network Roku channel as well. Wherever you consume podcasts, iHeartRadio, we're there. And also, you can follow me on all the social media platforms Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Blue Sky, TikTok. I'm there at Get the Real Deal on all those platforms as well. So, again, it is the continued of my Women's History Month series. You can check out all the previous episodes with all the incredible women I've had on this month to highlight there, like I said, on all the platforms. You can follow there along. So I have another great, incredible woman in this space for my Women's History Month series. So let me bring her on. Amanda Pena. She is a Kansas City-based content creator, community connector, storyteller, project coordinator who's known for turning everyday moments into something worth showing up for. We're going to get into all of that, all of her business, all those things. So let me welcome to the show, Amanda Pena. Welcome to the show. Really appreciate it.
Hello, everybody. And Courtney, thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, I thank you for accepting. We were talking before we started recording of how we kind of connected and everything too. So shout out to Jillian Carroll there, who I had on the show about a month ago or so, and we were just chatting about Kansas City and sports and everything too. And I saw that you had commented or liked the episode, so reached out and here we are. So I really appreciate the time. Appreciate you accepting the invite as well and being part of my Women's History Month series.
I super appreciate it. And yes, another shout out to Jillian. She is actually, it's really funny because she is the one who ties me into why I decided to go ahead and give content creation as a serious business journey a try. Her and my boyfriend, they were both on a radio show on one of our sports radio um, show or networks in Kansas City. And so I knew her just a little bit through there. And then, of course, COVID hit. And so their show never really came back because they didn't have anybody in the studio. But we have just always stayed connected. And I have been cheering her on for so long. She is a Kansas City public figure, she is a girl's girl. She is absolutely amazing. And so I met with her a little over a year ago and just said, listen, I know I'm in my 40s, but this is something I've been just naturally good at and very passionate about. I'm a
Yeah.
natural influencer. I'm a natural storyteller. I'm a natural cheerleader. I think I want to give this a try. I don't even know what I'm doing. And she said, I think you have a really good, um, platform that you can work off. You have a good foundation that you started. I think I started at about 900 followers. And she said, let's go. She brought me in to do some behind the scenes for a photo shoot of hers before she kicked off her women's sports podcast. And that
Yes.
was my very, very first taste of doing anything like that. And I immediately networked and met so many amazing people. And here we are about 14 months later where I feel like I'm just thriving. And I'm not afraid to say that.
Yeah, you shouldn't. And as you say, with content creation, we're gonna get into all of your content creating and how you got started and everything too. But it's a great platform and it's a great thing to do once it's used right and used correctly. I believe to everybody has a platform, and you said you have a voice and you want to be heard, and I think it's great that you're able to do that as well. So I'm glad to network with you and connect with you and everything too. So yeah, let's get started. First question I always ask my first time guest. You kind of hit on a little bit, but who is Amanda Pena, and how'd you get? Talk a little bit more of your background of how you got kind of got started into where you are today.
So small town girl, raised in a town by my grandparents. There was maybe 7,000 people in that town. I just always, even as a small kid, I was like, I want to try that. I don't
Mhm.
know anything about softball. I don't know anything about this club. And so I was always like, I want to try that. I want to do that. And as I started getting into my middle school and high school years, like I was a big nerd. I loved school. I love learning, but I also loved
Mhm.
winning. So I wanted to be like the
Mm,
top English student. I wanted to read the most books. And then eventually, as I got into high school, I was like, I'm going to try every single sport. And so I've always had that just natural curiosity of getting to know things, even with music. I never really, as a younger kid, never really settled in just to the pop. Like my dad was like an 80s hair band guy. My aunt was like a disco girl. I was raised with Mexican music, 90s country. And then of course, you had your hip hop and your R&B. And I was just like, I just want to know more. I want to know more
yeah.
about music. I want to know more about people. I want to know more about cultures and places. And we didn't really have a lot of money. We didn't really travel. I never was that kid. And so once as I got into college, I was the first person in my immediate family to graduate high school and then also go to college. So I went to K State, and eventually, after working several jobs too, I got on the radio station as a DJ. I was DJ Pena in the Hall of Pena show because everything
Okay.
so I loved it. I loved learning about new music. And, even though, I ended up having my son, I was kind of like a single mom through certain points in time. I just always felt the need to connect people, whether that was meeting new people out in, new events, whether that was, my son, whatever he was a part of, meeting those people. I always ended up bringing it back to how can I bring those people together, or what can I
Right.
tell these people about? I just tried this new restaurant. I just went to this new place. Oh, let's get a group together to go to a Royals game. Let's tailgate. Like, let's, throw something. And so I think that part of me has never, ever left, whether life
Mhm.
has been hard or good. Even working in an industry, I worked in like kind of the blue collar construction world for so long. And even though I've come across a lot of introverts and that, I've always found my way to somehow bring culture into wherever I'm at, and also kind of build like a community and get to know people and make people feel seen and heard. And so that journey has, gone through everything that I've done, and it's just so amazing. And I'm so proud of myself, but also all the people that have kind of laid out the land for us people that are kind of coming into it, because experiencing everything I've done for this past year or so has been so amazing and has truly shaped my life into a different route now, going on from here on out.
Absolutely. I just love hearing the journeys and the stories of all my guests. And because, like I said, everyone has a story, everyone has a different journey and a path. And, and as you said, you were just curious. You just, as a kid, you just wanted to learn and soak up all those things, connecting people. And I think now the way social media can be used again, it could connect and then networking. And but you said the interesting point you brought up about just being curious about like with the music and things like that. I was just that same person. I was just always trying to, with sports especially, but music and things like that. Just wanted to learn more about this artist, like why they made this song and how did they connect with this person to make this song and things like that. So I can definitely resonate with you on that of just being curious on just gathering information. And now look what we're doing now. Who would have thought that being a content creators and stuff like that would be beneficial with what we were doing. We were kind of content creating back then. It just wasn't called
Right,
that.
right, right. I totally agree.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, let's get into some of the things that you said when you gave me some of the information. I did a little bit of a background, just some research, I should say. On you said how you said you're the kind of great community connector. Explain what that is in your own words of community connecting.
So I'm just one of those people that, let's say I meet somebody, a
Mhm.
vendor or a
Right.
DJ or even a business. I'm one of those people. It's kind of like the red car theory. You buy a red car, what do you all of a sudden see all over the road? Red cars, right?
Right.
Or
Yeah.
you buy like a Hyundai or you buy a Ford and you're like, oh my gosh, does everybody have a Ford Escape? Like, I didn't even notice those before. So in my mind, whenever I meet somebody, especially if I get to hear their genuine story or their background where I truly love their product and believe in their product, the next time that it happens to come up in a random conversation anywhere, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know what? Are you following these people or have you ever heard of this business? They do such great work. I definitely think you should check them out. Make sure you tell them that, I referred you over there. So I just naturally do that. I think about bringing people together, similar interests, or maybe I feel like I'm that person that collects all the little introverts and I'm like, come here, little introverts. Like, let me take you into my
Yeah.
wings. I'm going to introduce you to other people. I'm going to introduce you to other experiences. I am known for bringing different groups of people together. And I've naturally done that. I've always loved a theme party. I've always loved an opportunity to get people together. I love a tailgate situation, especially a baseball tailgate. I feel like it's less pressure than an NFL
Yes. Yes.
tailgate because that's an all day, all weekend experience. Baseball,
It is.
let's bring some sandwiches. Like let's throw some bags, have a couple of beers, by the car. But I've always been that person, and so just recently I hosted two events. I've always wanted to hold an event, so I hosted two ticket events. One was a Valentine's Day event at a really amazing restaurant called Crew Bistro in
Okay.
Kansas City. They have what is called a girl dinner, which is like a salad, a cocktail, and fries, which is
Mm.
kind of known. That was a trend. And so they
Mhm.
have that. So I held an event and we did a small things gift exchange where everybody brought little gifts and we exchanged them with people you didn't know. And
Oh,
so it
okay.
was really cool to see these groups of people, friends, people that I've met through content creation, people that just came to the event because they thought it was cool. And I put them in groups of people they didn't know.
Right.
And they got to speed date a little bit and get to know each other and gift exchange. So that I feel like that's going to be something that's memorable also while promoting a business that is really amazing. And then I just hosted a health and wellness event at a friend of mine's new studio that she just opened up. We did Pilates, we did yoga, and I was able to bring 8+ different vendors that I've come across through my content creation and bring them
Right.
together. That for people that they may have never experienced these vendors because we kind of get stuck in that same sort of box where we're going to the same types of events, seeing the same types of people. Our algorithms are kind of in that same format. And so we had a coffee guy, we had espresso, we had Botox going on, we had a hat bar. It was just really, really cool. And I just expressed, to the women that came to this event that I'm trying to represent women like me, women that look like
Mhm.
me, women that are working women, women that are in their 40s, women that are trying to find their fitness journey, and let them know that there is welcoming space and there are people there that you can meet and make friends with. And it just was such a heartwarming experience. I was able to step back for even just 5 seconds from both of those and think, I have created community even for just this moment and given someone inspiration or maybe a little bit of courage to go to another event or maybe a little bit of courage to reach out to some people and maybe even interrupted their algorithm a little bit to where they're starting to see different types of content, different types of creators, different types of businesses. So we can encourage people to uh, shop local, support local, and that sort of thing.
Mhm. I love that. And just to go back to that, the women in content creation, like I said, you're part of that, the growing movement of female creators in the region. As you said, how do you see that community of women influencers supporting one another? And it seemed like I said, being part of that and as a connector, uh, the growth of women content creation.
So it's actually crazy because I after I started doing content back in the January, February, Jillian, who you interviewed, she suggested that I apply for media for KC Fashion Week. And I was like,
Mm.
who, what? I don't even know who is fashionable. I
Yeah,
have 900
right.
followers. Like, who's going to want to? I I applied for it. So I was raised by my grandparents, and my grandmother, who had been in a care home, she had been sick, and she passed away last February. And as we're driving there, my cousin and I are driving because we're driving back to my hometown to go to this funeral. We'd been crying and laughing,
Yeah.
and I said, you know what, I'm gonna take a minute. I'm gonna check my emails and see what's going on. And I see that I'm approved for Casey Fashion Week. And I
Wow.
like kind of look up, and I'm like, all right, grandma, like already looking out for me.
Yep.
Like
Yes.
you were 90 some years old, you would not even understand what I'm doing, but look at you looking out. And so I go to Casey Fashion Week. I don't know anybody. I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't even know what to wear. And I end up meeting so many amazing women content creators. I didn't know there were so many Latino content creators, Black content creators, Asian content creators. And this helped expose my world, especially within fashion. And so I met these three girls, handles Pretty Cash, Savings Blog, Nails and Novels, and DJ Diamond Diva. And we connected. And I
Mm.
immediately got it in my head that how can I bring people together? What can I do?
Yeah.
And I hosted a creator event at a small smoothie bowl place. And I invited most of the women that I had met at Fashion Week. And this group of women and I, those three, we kept working together. We kept
Uh,
sharing our names and spaces. We would work together. We would suggest each other. We would cheer each other on. We would talk about, what's bugging us and that sort of thing. And we just celebrated a year of friendship. We're at Casey Fashion Week Spring. So this is our third season. And we
Okay.
have still to this day, we talk multiple times a week. We are just such big cheerleaders. And I think that this world of collaboration that's happening right now, we have proven that four strangers came together and not only have a working relationship, a cheering relationship in the creator world, but we have developed a true friendship through this. And I think that that is just an example of what is happening in the creator world, especially in Kansas City.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, and that just shows again the power of networking and social media,
Yeah.
where it can actually, you said, just four strangers coming together and being able to support each other and build something that can become very very big. So yeah, I think content creation again has just keeps continuing to grow and things like that. So that I'm sure that inspired you again to start Bold in Mexico KC, which I love the name, the play
Yeah.
on words and everything too. So, what's the vision of that as your branding? What is the vision of it?
So I started that back when I used to work. I used to hustle, man. I worked a full-time job. I always had a second job. And one of the jobs I had was at Orange Theory Fitness, which is a gym like all over the nation. And I first started doing it because I was like, how can I get this membership, paid for? And I ended up loving it and being in a community, especially to see people that constantly chose themselves at least an hour of the day to take care of their body, their mind, and their soul through exercise. And I started creating content for them. I would take the pictures, I would create the videos, and I started getting a little bit silly with it. And eventually I was like, I need to start a separate Instagram. And I was like, how do I do this? Well, I'm definitely a lipstick girl. I love
Mhm.
a bold lip. My personality is pretty bold. Like I'm the person that talks to the random stranger in the elevator.
Okay,
I'm
I
the
love that.
person that starts the dance floor. Like I'll go out there. I'm the person that gets up there and sings. I'm the person that raises my hand and answers the questions. And so I was like, I'm definitely bold. And then I was like, how can I bring my side, especially the culture side of it, of how I grew in there? And I was
Right.
like, also kind of a little play on sexy. So bold and mexy. Casey was born. And I remember being like, I don't even know how this is going to play, but it's so funny now because I'm like, hi, my name is Amanda, bold and Mexi Casey. And I feel like I'm asking for people to vote for me for some kind of president role. But that kind of throws everything that's in there with me. I take a part of it, culture wise, I take a part of what comes from being half Mexican and growing up with that side of the family, but also where what it takes to kind of do what I do. I mean, it's scary, even as an extrovert, and someone that doesn't ever seem like they're scared. I I get like really nervous, I get really anxious, and I just have to say, all right, like let's just do that. And so being bold in a lot of things that I've done in my life has helped me. And I think it was just like perfect to kind of create that branding behind what I represent.
Yeah, and you're being authentic too. That's a main key too. You're just being your authentic self. You say, "Hey, I'm bold, but I get nervous too." And
Hmm.
also when you sent just a little bit of a background on yourself, you said your path hasn't been perfect. You said you've been through different things. We've all been through it. Life's curveballs, and being said single motherhood. How do you navigate through that? And just for someone who is bold, but you say, but I've been through a lot of things. I don't want to put myself out there. How would you say to help someone get through obstacles or curveballs and things like that? But you said you can still be bold, still have some fun, humor and all those things, being resilient, and that just comes out to say, hey, I'm still standing and I'm still going through and still being authentic and getting through those paths.
Well, and I think especially, which I love that you're doing a women's series this month, go International Women's Month.
Thank you.
But I think that's really important for you as a male that is coming in here and recognizing, because I hope that through everything that you've done this month and all of the stories that you've heard, that it has helped you learn more about what women go through, what women are doing, the barriers sometimes that we have to push across that maybe men don't have to like deal
Yeah.
with, but also kind of learn and have empathy, because I think that's the one thing that's always missing is
Mm,
that
yeah.
if you haven't gone through it, then it's really hard for you to kind of relate and empathize for that. But I mean, a lot of times I've come through my life because I was raised by my grandparents. It was really hard to not have both of my parents as like a consistent presence in there. I had to learn a lot of things on my own. I had to be a voice, for myself. And then even when I was in college, I didn't finish, the conventional way. I ended up having my son while I was in college. I tried to live in Kansas City for a short amount of time, had to move back home, had to restart my whole life, had to get a job, pay off debt, raise my kid. And then when I moved to Kansas City, like I was gradually growing again. And it's so funny when you're going through something hard, it's like, but look back at like a month ago or like three
Mhm.
months ago or a year ago. Remember when you were going through that really hard time, you got through it, like what did you do? People matter.
Yeah.
Having a support system matters. Having a community matters. I have found community in my gym, or in fitness and wellness. I have found community with music. So I feel like we have so many opportunities to find whatever interest we have, whether that's books, hiking, music, cocktails, brunch, or whatever. There's so much access online. There's so many events that are going on. And if you want to have community, you have to say yes.
Mm.
You have to go to the event. You have to support your friend. You have to support people, because by saying yes and by showing up, that's how you start to create that community around whatever interest or whatever event is going on.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love that. You have to say yes. You have to. You said if you're going to put yourself out there, you have to. You said say yes to a lot of different things
Mhm.
because if you're not gonna, if you have to try. You got to try these things. Again, being in the social media content creation, if you put yourself out there, you're gonna have to try different things when it
Mhm.
comes to that. So, all right. So if anyone was to come to Kansas City, say I was coming to Kansas City and I wanted to know, different spots and everything too. I did read that you're a foodie. So what's the ultimate Kansas City guilty pleasure meal or something like that?
Man, you can't ask me that. It really depends on the day. I mean, I know that Kansas
Yes,
City is definitely known for,
or
its barbecue, and we have
barbecue.
a
Yeah.
lot of good spots, but everybody has a different taste. Everybody has a different style. It's kind of depending on your sauces. You got your Joe's Kansas City, you've got your Gates barbecue, you have all of those. But there's so many cool little hidden spots. There's LC's that's been around forever. There's Slaps barbecue. You even have your fancier barbecues, Q39, Jack Stack. But just recently, I went and had. I love these little curated 3 and 4 course dinners
Mm,
that have been going on with cocktails. And I just went to Thai Orchid up in the Northland, and oh my gosh, it was like some of the most delicious food. And I have been to so many different Thai restaurants, so I could tell you Bamboo Pennies. You got Buck Tui, which is barbecue and Thai
okay.
collaboration
Mm,
restaurant. You have Mooney, which is Thai and a Mexican collaboration. You have Thai or KC Thai, and I'm like, I just never knew that there was all of these Thai
so many different
restaurants that are
ones,
out
right?
there.
Yeah.
You got coffee shops that are absolutely amazing. Some of the Casey Current players, they just opened up Pitchside Coffee, which I absolutely love. You have Cafe, which is one of the first Vietnamese coffee shops that were there. And you have Cafe Corazon, which is my good friend Dulce's coffee shop, which is bringing all of that Latin culture into it with their food and with their drink and having cafetons and having, Latin DJs and all of that. I
Mm.
mean, I'm telling you, it depends on what you're looking for. But even if you weren't into something, I could put you onto something depending on the week.
Okay, like you said, it's just I'm sure it varies each and every week of
Hmm.
different foods, and it's like I said, it's such a vast. Yeah, right. Kansas City's usually, as you say, barbecue, but you said it's beyond just the barbecue. But I've heard that there's always a battle with who's got the best barbecue. And Kansas City's always up at the top, usually at the top. So,
Yeah, and I
mhm,
mean, not to like one more thing to shout out. We have a taco trail here in Kansas City, Kansas. So of course you have
mm,
Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas, Kansas City as a whole. But on the
right.
KCK side, it's kind of known like unofficially as the taco capital of the Midwest. But they have a taco trail. It's like an app that you download, and you have 60 different places that you can try. And so if you complete those like within a year, they have a big party about that. But
Mm,
within that, they have a taco bus tour, and so they take you to different spots depending on what type of tacos you're looking for. It's BYOB. It's super fun, but you get to have some of the most authentic, delicious tacos ever. So if you were coming to Kansas City, I'd be like, you better be picking up some of those places from the KCK Taco
Mississippi.
Trail.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe hopefully I've never been to Kansas City, so
Come
hopefully
on, come
yes,
on.
come on, yes, yes, yeah, hospitality, yes, for sure, and everything too. All right, fashion wise, I know that's always a big thing too. What's the fashion vibe? And we were kind of talking a little bit about the sports scene and people
Mhm.
wearing a lot of different things with the sports teams and things like that. But what's the fashion vibe kind of like, or what's your fashion vibe like?
I try to be I try to step outside the box. And so I don't know
Right.
if you've been on my socials. Like
Mhm.
so Casey Fashion Week is going on right now. And I kind of stepped outside the box a little bit more. Like I love to be bold. I love the thing about fashion is it's whatever it's whatever you want it to be,
Yeah.
right? And I feel like Kansas City is starting to step out. Last night was actually City Night at Casey Fashion Week for night two, and so we had Maid Mob, who is very well known in Kansas City. They are probably the collaborators of all collabs. They've done sports, they've done like coffee shops, they've done barbecue. But they had a line that came out, and I absolutely love them and I love their story. But it was really kind of cool to see some of these local designers step outside the box and maybe take it into what's next in fashion. And
Mhm.
I think some people are like, wait, what? Like, what are people wearing? And it's so crazy. Even with like social media and access and everything, people think we're just out here in the Midwest wearing, overalls and just, like headed to go
Right.
like milk some cows or
I
whatever. But
know.
fashion fashion is stepping up out here. Like I
Mhm.
think people are finally starting to express themselves however they feel, and even if it's kind of a twist on a trend, I think we're starting to give some people a run for their money.
Mm. Yeah, fashion, as you said, it just depends. It's just whatever you feel. There's no right or wrong of when it comes to fashion. Hey, if you want to be bold, you want to be more conservative, want to whatever. It's however you feel, and it's as long
Hmm.
as you stay said. We talk about this authentic self. It's all good and everything too. So, all right, what's a typical day for Amanda Pena? Is it what's like your day to day like? Is it? I'm sure that varies too in a way because you kind of talk
Mhm.
about a lot of the different things you do. But what's like a typical week or day to day in your life?
So I work full time, like 7 to 4:30. I go into the office at least 3 days a week, but most times when I'm on my game, I go and get a workout before. So I try to work out probably like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, depending on what my start is. I think that workouts are very important. I work out at Hot Works, which is 24/7, which is actually very cool because I am such a busy person, like on always driving to, something. So it's really nice. I keep gym clothes with me all the time. So work out, go to work. Usually try to take my lunch to do a little bit of editing if I can, or I get up early in the morning if I'm not working out and do editing for whatever content I have coming up.
Yes.
I have every other Friday off. So like today I got up and I worked out, got things squared away with what's going on this weekend. I met up with another Kansas City public figure, the Royal Chief, to kind of discuss a collaboration and throwing an event. So that's really cool. He's a super amazing guy. He has a lot of really good stuff going on. He's a DJ in the community. He's created songs for the KC Current. And I mean, he's just a really cool, chill guy. So I met up with him so we could discuss, and it was just such a cool moment where we were just collabing and going off,
Yeah.
creating, brainstorming. I came to work. I wanted to catch up on some actual work for my job. So I hit up a different coffee shop that was a little bit quieter. So I knew that I had this podcast. So after I get off with you, I will work. And then I am meeting up with Jess, who is the creator of the Cougar Club, which is a dance party once a month for women, the theys and the gays, to have a safe space to come and dance. There's DJs. It's from 6:30 to 10:30, which means you can get home early and still go to work the next day. And we've been working with each other for about a year, and so we have a little content situation going on. And then it's like, get some rest because this weekend is about to be crazy too.
Yeah, end of March, and it's like already, and then the beginning of April. I mean, spring is here, so there's a lot of different things happening as well. All right, won't keep you much longer. I was going to ask you like a couple more questions, and then I'll
Sure,
let you
go
go.
ahead.
Yeah, yeah. You kind of alluded to it a little bit, just some of the future and goals for the rest of 2026. You say you got some events coming up and everything too, but what else? Do you have? I know you said World Cup's going to be there. World Cup's going to be here in Philly as well in June and July. So it's going to be a busy time. So,
Right.
but what other future things you got that you can announce that you got coming up in 2026?
You actually helped me cross off one of my goals for this month was to be on a podcast, and
Oh, okay.
so thank you
Yeah.
so
Well,
much.
you are
Like it's
welcome.
so it's so nice to check that off.
Yes.
Um, I wanted to host an event. Actually, I got two things. I wanted to host an event, so I hosted two events
Did that one.
within like
Yeah.
3 weeks, and so I got to check that off. I want to MC an event. I think I would be an amazing natural MC. I feel
Okay.
like I'm very good with the crowd. I feel like I'm very good with the table. So, however small or big that is, and I'm kind of in the works of creating a fashion show that I would be emceeing with a consignment shop called the Clothes Mentor. And so I think we've nailed down a date this summer, and we're going to be asking some different people, non-models and maybe some creators, to come pick out an outfit and a model and just have like a little runway show in their store. I'm hoping to be able to either work with or go to some of the watch parties that are going to be happening in Kansas City. I'd love to work with Visit KC more, which is kind of, like our tourism that's here, and really be
Mhm.
more involved. I don't know if it'll happen this year, but of course I have goals, even as fan experience, to work with any of our Kansas City teams, Sporting Kansas City, Chiefs, Royals, Current. We have indoor soccer, Comets, and we have a new softball team that's starting here. We are getting our first professional softball team, the Kansas City Diamonds. They start, I think, in June. And then Kansas City Glory, which is our professional women's tackle football team, they actually kick off tomorrow for their first game.
Oh,
And
wow.
so just to be more of like experience, and also just sharing, with people some of these amazing events that are, going on, and just really helping showcase in and outside, the suburbs and also in the city, of the amazing things that we have going on there. So I want to continue on that direction. And now that I've had this under my belt. I'm learning a lot more. Just to be able to showcase the best that I can, but also get to know these people and make true connections out there.
All right. The momentum is moving forward. So 2026, 2027, looking forward to seeing all the content that you are going to be presenting and doing, hosting, and all those things. So we'll be on the lookout for all of that as well. All right, last one. Since it is Women's History Month and you're part of my series, which I was excited to have you on. What does Women's History Month mean to you on a personal and professional level?
Personal, I mean, I kind of had to be a mom and a dad, quite a bit, and raising my son. And I think that a lot of people, even with the way that we have progressed, where women got to have more rights, even as far as getting a job and working, being able to vote, being able to get a home loan, and through all of those, I don't think that people realize that what was expected as a woman still kind of is in that same realm, right? We're still, kind of expected to keep a house and cook dinner and just make sure that the family and the kids or whatever situation you are still rolling, all while a lot of us are having professional careers. And in that sense, you're also having to make sure that you're heard and that you're not too aggressive, you're not too sensitive, that you are making yourself seen and heard in a way that a lot of people don't. And so I just feel like every day I learn, and I think we have so many amazing women, whether that's celebrities, whether that, people out there that are in the political world or, representing in like different industries. We have a lot of really amazing women that are, juggling so many different things. And so I think for me, I have learned that you can't have it all, but you can learn what percentage to give to you, and you got to make sure that you're giving a percentage to yourself, because if you do not, you're not going to be able to do all of the things and handle all the things, and you got to give yourself some grace. But what women are doing out there right now, women in sports, women in leadership, women just everywhere. It's so awesome that everybody is celebrating, and it's so awesome that young girls are starting to have people and women that look like them, that are like them, representing and giving these girls incentive to go out there and do what you want to do, however you want to do it. And it's just such an amazing time to be able to kind of see that through social media and see how that's growing. And I'm just so excited, man. Women, don't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. I'm
Yes, that
gonna
won't
preach
stop.
that. Can't stop, won't stop. And thank you to everyone who has set the way for me. Thank you to everyone who has supported me. And I just thank you to anyone that has ever been influenced by me in a positive light to just get out there and do something, try something new, and say yes and believe in yourself.
Very well said. And again, I appreciate you and what you're doing, and much success to you, and many blessings, many more blessings to you moving forward. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for your time and your commitment and all and everything. And really appreciate it. And let everyone know they can follow you on social media, where they want to reach out to you,
Mhm.
follow your journey, like, subscribe, all those things to your platform and everything too.
Yeah, so you guys can follow me on Instagram and TikTok. It's at Bold and Mexi KC, all spelled out. And so yeah, just I'm just out here doing the things. I love doing the things, sharing the things, food, drink, fashion, fun, events, and fitness. And so keep following me along. This is who I am. This is who I am in content. This is who I am in person. And
Yep.
so you definitely get an authentic person when it comes to that. And listen, I don't got my life together. I obviously couldn't get my headphones to work earlier. I sometimes wake up and I'm like, I definitely don't got my life together, and that's okay. Messy is okay, you guys. Messy is okay.
It is okay. Yes, it is okay. We all are just going through this journey and this path, and they say everything doesn't is not always, what we think is going to work out, and then something comes your way. As you said, sometimes headphones don't work. Sometimes just those little things, and but we figure it out. So, but
Exactly.
I appreciate this conversation. Thank you again, Amanda. I really appreciate it, and I will have this. So I'll have some of the content up on my page and share it with you as well. And yeah,
Yeah.
and all that. So again, I thank you and enjoy your weekend. And you said I know it's going to be busy, but enjoy the weekend and hopefully we'll talk soon.
All right. Yes, I can't wait. Thank you so much for having me on. It was so wonderful to meet you.
All right, you too. All right, have a good one.